sul cross di Riverino, colpo di testa di Pele e infine il vantaggio. Ha segnato Pele al 18° minuto.
A throw-in, then a chip over into the 18th area, and Pele scores. It's 1-0. So that famous goal that was scored in 1970, it was the final match of the FIFA World Cup at the Estadio Azteca, or what we would know as the Aztec Stadium in English. Thank you for joining me for ATJ Vibe Live on this a very important evening, the second to last day in the, well, penultimate day, the pre-penultimate day of the calendar year. And tonight is a night I have to say, wow, so many people have dropped out. Fashion designers, entertainers, people across the world, and now to hear about EDSON ARIENTES NASCIMENTO, Pele, who is a friend of Jamaica, dropping out. It really pains a majority of the people's hearts and minds. Wow, wow, what an evening. Thank you for joining me. So this program is presented by, as you can see here, Unique Visuals Caribbean, drone photography and drone videography. Whether it's commercial or non-commercial pictures we do want to get done. Yeah, you got me now. Anyway, you can call me at 876-819-2044. Get your photos and videos done, whether it's for birthdays, weddings, or it's for your Airbnb or commercial businesses, or for major sporting events or entertainment events. Prices vary, so call and we can work out various packages. All right, you can follow me on my Instagram page at unique_visuals_Caribbean, or you can follow me on my YouTube channel, which is Unique Visuals Caribbean, or UVC TV. Yes, man. Or you can also follow me on my Facebook page, which is Unique_Visuals_Caribbean. Just put in the at before that. Or you can follow me on Twitter. That is UVC_drone_image. And join me. So I'm going to just play this short video. It's an audio version of the video coming to you from Sky Sports.
And we start the show this evening with a very somber tone, because news is reaching us here on Sky Sports News this evening that the Brazilian great Pele, the three-time World Cup winner, has died at the age of 82. The AP news service is reporting that he has passed away. We know he's been in hospital for the last month. He's been battling colon cancer for 15 months. He's been in Sao Paulo in hospital since the end of November, and his health had worsened. His family, of course, as you probably heard, spent Christmas by his side. And now the news that is reaching us this evening from various agencies who are starting to break this news is that Pele, the great Pele, has very sadly died at the age of 82. His achievements in the game absolutely vast. Of course, as I say, he won the World Cup 3 times with Brazil. He is their joint all-time leading scorer with 77 goals. And boy, could this guy score a goal. Official figures showed he scored 757 times in 831 games in his career, although his old club Santos claimed that figure is actually closer to 1,000 goals. Sadly, Pele has passed away at the age of 82. Let's speak to our panel. Obviously, we've got football to come this evening. This is our absolute priority, to reflect on the life of a great man, Alan. The debate who is the best ever has been particularly pertinent in the last few weeks with Messi winning the World Cup for Argentina. But tell me about your memories of watching Pele on the screen.
Obviously, when I was younger, my father was a football player. He used to say Pele was the best. And then you speak to some of the older guys that played football, and they all used to say Pele was the best, but yet Pele said that George Best was the best. You know, he was plenty of humility. It's not the way we want to start a programme, obviously, but there is no one on this planet didn't know who Pele was. That's how good he was.
I mean, Clinton, I'd say this, the best ever debate, with Messi and Ronaldo, and where does Pele stand in the pantheon of the all-time greats for you?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Obviously, because I'm a lot obviously younger, but you have to go back and watch clips of what Pele could do. What he could do with the football and the goals he scored was phenomenal. I always remember there was one where he's head out, and there's one where he's let the ball run past the goalkeeper, go around it, and just dragged it just wide. His skills were fantastic. He's a top player. Pele will go down. We use the word legend too often nowadays. He is a legend of the game. One of the best there is and will ever be. And RIP, thoughts and prayers go out to his family, because it's a sad time. As Big Man said, Al said, you don't want to. Three World Cups, yeah. It says it all. It says it all.
To get to play in a World Cup,
that's the pinnacle.
You're like, that'll do me.
Yeah.
To win, and to be, what was he, 17? Was it Sweden? I think it was the first one.
That's
I
right.
can't remember.
58.
The one you're talking about against Italy in 1970 is probably the best Brazil team that ever was. And they talk about, obviously, well, listen, Messi was important, Maradona was important, Ronaldo's been important for Portugal, won the Euros, never won a World Cup. But Pele was just astonishing.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a studio full of people who know where the back of the net is or did in their careers, and Courtney's still playing. Courtney made 757 goals in 831 games. And as I say, the club actually said it was near 1,000 goals. It's just staggering numbers, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an unbelievable statistic. And the thing about me, we're talking about, different people now of completely different age group, but he transcended generations. And, whatever your age, if you're into football, or even if you're not that into football, you know who Pele is. You've got fond memories of me growing up, watching clips of him, and, you think about what they had to deal with and that generational talent we're speaking about, and, can you compare Messi, Maradona, Pele? But in terms of, you think the pitches they had to play in, the equipment, the boots, the balls, and what he could do with a football is way ahead of his time, and it's obviously a very sad day for football and his family, and all our thoughts go out to them.
Began playing for Santos at the age of 15, Jamie, and broke into the Brazil squad at the 58 World Cup at the age of 17. What were you doing when you were 17?
Certainly not doing anything, just probably dreaming of one day even being a tenth as good, and I never even achieved that, and not many people ever will. We're talking about one of the greatest of all time, and I think the point everyone makes is very poignant at this time, that I've got a 10-year-old son, and we watched the movie about Pele, and being 10 years old, and he wasn't even in my generation yet. In the playground, and his friends, they know Pele, and they don't know players who, let's say, were top players who won the Premier League, who we would say are icons. They've got them in their packs of cards and all their computer games, and watching movies of him as icon cards. Everyone knows who he is. It was incredible watching the movie of, like you said, at 15 years old and playing for Brazil. So how he learned to play football was incredible in the manner he did.
Okay, so that is just a little snippets there from a television news program called Sky Sports News via YouTube channel. So, let me just give you a snippet about his life and work and legacy of the legend himself. Legend of the game, 3-time FIFA World Champion, 1958 in Sweden, 1962 in Brazil's neighbor, Chile, 1970 in Mexico, which is close to home. Yes. Born on the 23rd of October, 1940 in Três Corações, Minas Gerais in Brazil. Died on the 29th of December at age 82 at Morumbi near Sao Paulo. Cause of death, multiple organ failure, which is caused by colon cancer. Apart from being a footballer, he's also a humanitarian. He has married on 3 occasions. Rosemary Dos Reis Kobe, 1966 to 1982. Assyria Lemos Cecias, 1994 to 2008. And most recently to Masir Awiki in 2016. He has 7 children, including Edinho. And his father, well, is deceased. His name is Yao Ramos Don Namacento, also known as Don Dino. Now, in terms of Pele's career, he spent a good portion of his time at Santos SC for roughly 18 years, starting from 1956 through to 1974. Started out his career as a teenager with 636 games being played, 618 goals scored for the Brazilian outfit. While he played most of his time with Brazil, for Santos, he played most of his time with Brazilian team. 92 appearances, 77 goals. One of his goals that he scored, which was the header, in which I introduced myself, in fact the program, to you all, was the 100th goal that he helped Brazil to obtain at the FIFA World Cup, which took place in 1970. Now, when I say 100th goal at the World Cup, Brazil set the standard, a landmark achievement for a footballing giant. Every time you hear about the name Brazil at FIFA World Cups, don't be a stranger to it. When you see Jamaicans wearing these color shirts, it represents the profound pride and joy that most people like to associate themselves with Brazil. He also has secured the Copa America title in 1959, a year after winning his first FIFA World title. Well, not the title itself, he got a silver medal. In terms of playing time in the United States, he spent 2 years with New York Cosmos, played 64 matches in the North American Soccer League, and scoring 37 goals in the mix, giving him a total of 792 matches for club and country, with a total of 732 goals. 732 goals. Wow, fantastic footballer. But we understand that some of these details have been disputed in recent times, but I'm not going to be pushing on that matter. So the details that I'm looking at here, these are some stats obtained by Wikipedia. But anyway, that's not the real case though. He was once Minister of Sports between the years 1995 to 1998 under the Fernando Henrique Cardoso government of Brazil. Now, most people would have known about the player who gave the world something to think about, and his style, his ingenuity, his tactical. Trust me, he has given every reason for the crowd to roar on the legend. When people took notice of him playing for Santos FC during his early years, television wasn't much in South America. Of course, Brazil had its own political ups and downs. Several times we heard about coup d'etat. You have heard about political instability, social and economical instability as well. But also, Pele was the man who had the steady hands, steady mind, and great feet, keeping everything together. He played alongside some of the best footballers from Revellino, Garrincha, as in Mane Garrincha, Carlos Alberto Torres, Mario Zagallo, who won the FIFA World Cup in 1958, 1962 as a player. He went on to become the coach, but still has his friendship kept tightly close to Pele. And it's so interesting to see that the Brazilian men's national team held everything together. 3 world titles. Only one occasion, Pele style got cramped, and that was in the 1966 World Cup in England. They were heading for another world title. But according to Carlos Alberto Torres, poor football was taking over. And it seems as if the English and some of the European teams wanted even more of their own type of football to be played in UK territory. But Pele wanted to quit. But there are those who felt he is gifted, talented, and special. And this is why I have to take this opportunity to let it be known that he is so much more than just a player. So that is young, gifted, and black, and that is how most people would have described Pele throughout his time as a player while representing Brazil. And this song is being recorded and performed by Bob Andy and Marcia Griffiths, who are from the island nation of Jamaica. Now, speaking about Jamaica's relationship with Pele and the Brazilian team, let me just take some time out to extend my condolences to the Confederation of Brazilian Football, as well as the people of the Federative Republic of Brazil and the Brazilian Embassy in Kingston, Jamaica. As you know, football is more than just a game. It is the landmark cultural identity of the Brazilian people. From the streets of Manaus to the hills of Sugarloaf Mountain, or from the Copacabana beach area to the sand dunes of Brazil, it is very clear that Jamaicans do love football. And we have been watching Pele and all other successors that played for Brazil. I wasn't born in the 1970s, but based on what people have told me about Jamaica's affection for Brazil and Pele, they even go as far as saying that the first time FIFA World Cup coverage was shown in Jamaica, it was thanks to the Jamaica Broadcasting Corporation, the JBC, who provided high quality excitement and football became so much a part of our folklore. And it took years before Jamaica's Rene Simoes, well, he's Brazilian, but he's also ours as well. Jamaica's Reggae Boys coach, Rene Simoes, who was chosen by the then former president of the JFF, the late great Captain Horace Burrell, to come and to show the Reggae Boys the way to get to the World Cup. After the heroic exploits of the team that won the USA 94 tournament under the stewardship of Carlos Alberto Piera and assisted by Mario Zagallo, who is also the same coach that was in charge of the 1970 winning World Cup squad, to literally inspire more people to get involved in the game. For Burrell, the former JFF boss, saw what was going on. And the moment Pele jumped out of his seat from the commentary box at the World Cup, while working closely with Brazilian media giant Rede Globo TV, it was very clear that the World Cup title is going to be in the hands of the Brazilians. The only sad thing was that Roberto Baggio's shot that he took did not make the goal, but he went out into the park. But guess what? Guess what? Maybe he did the right thing. And when I say he, I'm referring to Burrell. Many years ago, there were other Brazilian coaches who came along and helped in the process of getting us to the World Cup, but the help did not went as according to plan. But Simoes went deep down and saw what was happening. And many Jamaicans were inspired by what was happening in Brazil. But interestingly, Pele is not only just a player. His skill, his artistic personality, in terms of his creativity, and his ideas that can create the harmony within a club team or a national team, means the world in how he does things. And this is why he is who he is. What we must also take into consideration is that he grew up in an area which is considered not safe to live there. And why? It was a poor man's territory. And living in poverty is the case with Pele. But his skill got him out of poverty. It so happened that at the time when Santos decided to bring him on board, they noticed that he had some issues with his feet and other parts of his body. And the doctors from his club had to address that and get him to the best shape of his life. It so happened that when he put on his full white outfit for Sao Paulo and his famous Puma football boot, which is also known as the Puma King, everything was well set for him. He and members of the Santos Football Club, that is, came to Jamaica on several occasions. And they played against the best of Jamaican football, whether it's the Reggae Boys or one of the club teams in major friendlies. And Pele still represents what it is that we can believe and seek to achieve, and go as far as achieving and setting a trend for others. And I must take this opportunity on ATJ Vibe Live to let it be known that as a member of the FIFA fan movement, Jamaica's first ever member, and very soon I'll be establishing a stronger footballing community where there are supporters, male and female, who can be a part of understanding the game, the culture, and helping to educate younger generations about football that Pele has taught the world. 3 years from now, well, by our watch, the next World Cup will be in North America. And that is where our reggae boys should be heading back to the World Cup. Yes, 3 nations will be co-hosting the World Cup. United States, Mexico, and Canada. The first 3 nations that I mentioned were places where Pele and his Brazilian men's national team won the world title. 1970. And while he was a spectator in the United States, his team, well, he had some input in the Brazilian 1994 team. Yeah, won the title. But there are players who seriously owe him a great debt of gratitude on the Brazilian side. Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Romario, Roberto Carlos, Dunga, Cafu, Tafarel, Dida, Marcos, among others. In particular, Ronaldo Nazario de Lima. He came the closest of being 3-time FIFA World Champion. He won the title 2 occasions. 1994, as a teenager, he didn't start in the final, but he was a part of the Brazilian team that traveled to the United States. And in 2002, while playing in the final and scoring 2 fabulous goals to give the Brazilian men's national team their 5th world title. Neymar may have met Pele at some stage of his life. He was able to secure their country's first ever Olympic title after many tries by other players like Romario, Ronaldo, Dunga, Ronaldinho. Neymar was able to secure the Olympic title for Brazil. And also Dani Alves, who a year ago gave Brazil their 2nd Olympic title in style. It is great to say that Pele is a player who inspired more than just a generation. He is by far a leader in his class. I'm very excited to be a part of the global footballing community, and I appreciate what Pele has done. And to his family, his friends, and by far the Brazilian footballing community, salutations, condolences also being offered from my heart to you. And thanks for giving us what is wonderful about Pele. I'm very happy to follow everything about his magical performance. He amazes me. He is a true champion. I'm going to share this other video right now. Well, it's not a video, it's an audio clip, but that should bring some understanding of Pele's personality. But trust me, he is more than just a player.
Football legend, widely regarded as the greatest player of all time, has died at the age of 82.
He'd been in hospital for several weeks being treated for cancer. During his 21-year-long career, he scored more than 1,200 goals in more than 1,300 appearances and became the only player to win the World Cup 3 times. In Brazil, he is hailed as a national hero for his achievements in football and for his repeated calls to improve the social conditions of the poor. Tonight, tributes to him have been pouring in from all corners of the world. Our sports editor, Dan Roan, reports on the life of one of the true greats.
He's far in pronouncing it. Over canny stuff. Rivellino. And it's Pele! He's got it! Pele has scored! And that is Brazil's 100th goal in the World Cup.
If football is the world's game, then Pele was the world's greatest player. For most fans, that's a statement of fact. Well over 1,000 goals, a career of over 20 years, and 3 times a World Cup winner. But don't just look at statistics, look at the style.
Oh, what genius! I didn't miss it! Oh, what a fabulous bit of dummy stunning!
Brazilian football, synonymous with flair and success, was built on Pele. Having been born into poverty, in 1958 he took part in his first World Cup tournament, aged just 17. He scored 6 goals in 4 matches, playing himself to the point of exhaustion. When Brazil beat Sweden in the final, one opponent said when he watched Pele, he felt like applauding.
Pele! And number 3.
Injury limited his role in the 1962 World Cup, and in 1966, glory was destined for elsewhere. Opposing teams knew they had to stop Pele one way or another. 4 years later, in 1970, in Mexico, Pele was part of a Brazilian team widely regarded as the finest ever. They won the World Cup with a freedom of expression and fluency never seen before. It was Pele's last World Cup. Without him, Brazil waited another 24 years before winning the trophy again. Pele remained in demand. After all, he was one of the most famous names and faces in the world. He spent 18 years with one club, Santos, averaging nearly a goal a game. By 1975, he was in the United States, the ultimate acquisition for a new league hungry for glamour. The league didn't last, but Pele still thrilled New York.
So that's a short video clip from the BBC. Anyway, enjoy yourselves, pleasant evening, and stay safe. Thank you for following me on ATJ Vibe Live. As you see, it's uniquely captured thanks to Unique Visuals Caribbean. Stay safe. One love.